In this video, I want to work through the domain of a couple of rational functions. Let's begin with this rational function, x squared minus x minus 6 all over x minus 2. To determine the domain of a rational function, we're really interested in looking at the denominator and finding any values of x in the denominator that cause a division by 0. In other words, the easiest way to find the bad values of x are to set the denominator equal to 0 and solve for x. In our case, x is equal to 2 is going to be a value that we do not want to include in the domain of our function. So if we want to write this domain in interval notation, we have that our domain is given as negative infinity all the way up to 2. We're going to use round brackets at 2 because we do not want to include the value of 2. And then our second bracket will be 2 to positive infinity. And of course, if we want this in set notation, this is the set of all x's where x is not equal to 2. Let's work through one more example. Here we have the function x plus 1 all over x squared minus 4. If we're interested in determining the domain of this function, we're going to take our denominator, which is x squared minus 4, set it equal to 0, and try to find any linear factors here that give us a value of 0. Notice that we have a difference of squares on the left side, and we can factor this into its conjugate pairs, x plus 2 and x minus 2. This means that both plus and minus 2 are going to be bad values for our function. We don't want to include these in the domain of f of x. If we'd like to write out our domain in interval notation, we're going to have negative infinity up to negative 2. Then we're going to have an interval from negative 2 to positive 2. And then our final bracket will be from positive 2 to positive infinity. Okay, notice that we're using round brackets here at both negative 2 and positive 2 because we don't want to include those two values in our domain. And if we want to write this in set notation, this is the set of all x's where x is not equal to plus or minus 2.